I was actually sitting next to a woman. She was Mayan, and we had such a nice conversation for 30 minutes. And then she started teaching me swear words, Mayan.
What's like the lowest amount for a payment request you've ever gotten?
I got like 75 cents.
No.
Yeah, that was in uni. One of the things I struggled in Dutch was vriend and vriendin. One means friend, one means your partner, right?
Yeah. What made you move to the Netherlands? What triggered you? What made you decide, I'm going to move to the Netherlands?
Yeah, for me, I've always found like the Netherlands very fascinating, you know, like it's such a small like country,
I know.
but it has such a huge global impact. And for me, I've always saw so many opportunities here. Like it's a very like diverse yet like small country. And in terms of like meeting someone from like Haiti or Brazil, like it's so easy to like come across like different nationalities.
And was it different to what you expected when you arrived?
To be honest, like when I came here, like of course you're gonna experience the Dutch weather, you're gonna experience so many things.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It might dampen your mood a bit, like a little bit, but like I still see so many things that I thought about like before I moved here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was it the same for you?
Very much, but for me it was like you said, I got a scholarship to study here, but I was pretty much in a long distance. My sister lived in Belgium, I was visiting, and I was like, I want to move somewhere else. I think I'm ready for it. I'm just gonna apply for it, and I never thought I was gonna get it. I was like, okay, I had to write a motivational letter before ChatGPT, so I actually had to write it, and then send my grades, and I was like, okay, let's just apply, but probably not gonna happen. And then when I got it, I was like, okay, I'm moving to the Netherlands.
Where's that?
Yes, and the first city that I moved, that I arrived was Rotterdam. And then I was like, that was not what I was expecting from the Netherlands. I expected like these old houses, like klompen and like cheese. And then I arrived in Rotterdam and I was like, that's different, but I kind of like it.
And what were those first months like? I can expect you to be shocked at certain things. I believe I saw one of your reels, I'm not sure if it was on Instagram, but one of your videos on that you arrived and the first time you had to pay in the Netherlands and you practiced pinnen alsjeblieft. Pinnen alsjeblieft.
Yes.
And then they hit you with spaart u ook zegeltjes.
And then like your persona is like completely gone. Like, okay, I'm so Dutch now, I can say that. I can say ja or nee. And then they say something else and you're like, okay, apparently I don't know anything about this language. Yes. But how about for you?
No, for me, like I first arrived in Amsterdam, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like Amsterdam is a bit more relaxed when it comes to like speaking the language. So I wouldn't say I really experienced like much cultural shocks for the language. It was more for like the relationship with money for me. Like the relationship with money in the Netherlands is completely different. Like there's more like this splitting culture. And for me, it makes things really awkward. Like when you have lunch or dinner with a friend, I'm like, okay, should I pay? Do I need to like request payment back? And like, there's always like this afterthought, like, okay, what's gonna happen after this very amazing dinner?
Right.
And yeah, it stresses me out.
Yeah.
What's like the lowest amount for a payment request you've ever gotten?
Oh God.
I think for me, I got like 75 cents.
No.
Yeah, that was in uni. That was at university. Yeah.
What it was?
So we got.
What can you buy for 75?
So actually, my friend. So actually, it was at the cafeteria in school, and we ordered soup, right? And the soup was things were cheap back then.
Yeah.
So like, it was soup, and it was like 75 cents, and I was like, okay. I didn't expect like a request. I thought like, you know, it's one of these things where I got you now, next time, you know.
Yeah.
But then I got like the request. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
I got you. Wait, and Sam, because you're also half Dutch, but you grew up in Miami. So when you moved to Amsterdam, I can assume that was something to adjust to as well.
I also experienced a culture shock, even though I'm half Dutch. I don't know, I first grew up in Haiti and then I grew up in Miami, and the first thing that shocked me in Holland was the planning. Like everyone has a calendar and an agenda.
Yes.
You can't do anything spontaneously. So I remember when I first arrived, I had a friend that I knew from before, and I was like, hey, like I've just moved, like should we get dinner? And then this was, I don't know, August. And she writes back and she's like, yes, I'd love to. How about like October 2nd? And I was like, what? Like, at first I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. And then later I found out that it's like very much like people plan ahead everything. And the longer you stay here, the more you fall into the same cycle as well, because like then I had to block off October 2nd for her.
Yeah.
So that means that my October 2nd is full, and then you kind of get into that lifestyle. But it was very intense for me because in Miami and in Haiti, things are very much last minute. So like, I don't know, I could ask you, do you want to get dinner in 1 hour? And then you tell me yes or no, but
I would say no. Because
yeah, you would say no.
You were like, excuse me? Do you know where you are?
Yeah. I have the same thing with my boyfriend. From
Yeah.
Curaçao, it's also indeed a lot more last minute and spontaneous, living in the moment.
Yeah.
And then I come home from work and then there are like 5 people in my house. And I'm like, we didn't schedule this. What's going on?
But what do you do then? Do you kick them out?
Well,
You're
I'm
gonna
able
sit
to adapt
grumpy in
now.
the corner.
I know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's just cultural differences, so it's always fun.
Yeah.
But it's just unexpected.
Yeah.
So I have to let go a little bit of my Dutchness of planning everything
Right.
and just
Yeah.
live more in the moment.
Yeah.
So that's also what I've learned from him. So it's
Yeah,
also nice
same
from
for me,
different
yeah.
cultures.
I actually experienced the shock the other way around. It was a nice shock, but it was different to me. My boyfriend lives in Rome. He's Italian. So one day we had to pick up the keys of his scooter at his parents' house. I don't know. We had to pick up some keys. So I was going there. I was like, we're going to pick up keys. Let's go. We arrived at the house. His mother's like, dinner? And I'm like, sure, why not? We had like a 4-course dinner. Stayed there for 5 hours. Got all drunk, I guess. And then we left. And on the way back, I was like to my boyfriend, oh, what about the keys?
Oh my God.
And he's like, oh yeah, the keys. Yeah.
That's a perfect excuse to come tomorrow again, to have more dinners, more things.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. And what about the language? I believe you both have the Dutch passport, so I think you speak
We
Dutch.
did the bunqr,
Yeah?
definitely, yes.
What was that like? How did you go about learning Dutch?
For me, like when I studied here, like I did study Dutch for like 2.5 years in university. And then one thing that also helped me was my sister's kids. They were born here, so like when I moved here, they were like very little, they couldn't really speak English. So they always said like things in Dutch, and I was like, what are you saying? So I really had to like try to like learn the language as well.
Yeah.
So practice was like a huge factor for learning the language for me.
Right.
I think I lived in different cities in the Netherlands, and like the smaller the city, like the more Dutch you need to like speak, you need to practice.
Yeah.
But then I moved back to Amsterdam, and then everything disappeared because a lot of people do speak English here in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
But yeah, practice is key for learning the Dutch language for sure.
And making a lot of mistakes, I think. Is there a funny, also for the other panel, for other people here, learning another language, is there like this funny anecdote or things you did horribly wrong?
I think for me, it's very much like I'm always so scared of like making these mistakes that I'm always like, okay, how is this?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna check before I'm gonna say something. But that's the biggest mistake
To
that you
make when
should
learning
do.
a language, yes.
Because you just say things and try things, and that's how we learn a language. But yeah, then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be watching the TV. I'm gonna learn a little bit, and then little by little, I started learning, and also like a Dutch family as well. Like people will be like, okay, you've been here for X amount of time, you gotta learn, like speak with me in Dutch. So then I will be like, oh no, and then you just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You notice how the more mistakes you make, the better you actually
Which you're gonna do every single mistake.
There's also like mistakes that, you know, would definitely get you like weird looks in public.
Tell me.
I do remember, like, okay, one of the things I struggled in Dutch was vriend and vriendin.
Oh, yeah. My boyfriend does that
Yeah.
too.
So like one means friend, one means like your partner, right?
Yeah.
So I was in I think a H&M or something, and I was looking at baby clothes because a friend of mine was expecting a baby. And then the lady at the store, she walked up to me and was like, oh, can I help you? I was like, yeah, I'm looking for, I said it in Dutch because I was trying to also practice in Dutch. I was like, yeah, ik koop iets voor mij, ik koop een kleine kleding voor mijn vriend. And I thought in my mind that I'm saying I'm buying clothes, I want to buy clothes for my friend's child. And then the lady was like, your boyfriend is expecting a child? Like, and he's still your boyfriend? And I, like, she was looking at me like really like weird.
Mathing, yeah.
Okay.
I think the thing is like with the mind
Yes.
and the eng.
Yeah.
Because for me, saying like eng, vriend sounds so impersonal.
Yeah,
it
it's
sounds
like
so
all
cold.
friends. Like I don't know who that
Like,
friend
Is
is.
it
Like
a
an
friend of
acquaintance.
mine?
Yeah.
So, and then you need to be like, mijn vriend, no, één vriend. But it's a friend
Yeah.
that I really like, but
Yeah.
it's not really like
Not in that way.
a boyfriend, but
Yeah.
it's so confusing, right?
Yeah, it is very confusing. No, I've made my fair share, not fair shares, my fair share of, I'm learning Italian now, so,
Hey.
yeah, so I'm trying to speak wherever I go, and we were at a bar, and I was gonna order my wine myself, like the adult I am, and I ordered my wine to be pesante. I was like, I want it full-bodied, but pesante means high in alcohol content, so the waiter was like, don't we all? I started laughing.
Stupid.
Yeah.
But you guys also like notice like the more you live here, like you replace certain like English words with how Dutch people say. Like for me, I can't stop myself from saying I want to make a picture. Like instead of saying take a picture, I now say make a picture.
Yeah.
I was like, what's wrong with that?
Once I said that I want to learn you, and I was like, no, this is too far. I was like, I was shocked with myself. I was like, yes.
Or when you say words that like you say a word in Dutch and they're like what? Sorry, and they're like oh, and then they say the same. I'm like, but that's what I said.
But the words that I always forget, like in English nowadays, is like fruits or salads and things that you buy at the grocery store, because you are always like only reading that in Dutch, and then I'm like, oh my god, how is this in English? And I'm like, am I Dutch now? Actually, yes.
Speaking about the grocery store, is there anything that you really miss from Brazil, from Nigeria, or you traveled to Curaçao? I know that that's not where you're originally from, but maybe there's certain things that you miss when you're back in the Netherlands.
What I love there is that they still eat a lot of meat. And in Amsterdam, everything is vegetarian and vegan. Yeah. So I appreciate when I'm in Curaçao, I'm really indulging myself into just all the kind of meat that's there. So yeah, that's different. I don't miss it because I can have the best of both worlds.
Right, cool.
I think for me it's more like the size of like the fruits. Like the fruits back home is like huge, like
avocado here.
Avocados.
Like this
I'm like,
big.
is
They
this
started
real?
even calling it baby avocados.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the taste of fruits as well, like I don't like bananas here. I feel like they have no taste. Yeah, and then when I go to Brazil, like I'm like, oh my god, banana is so good, and I feel grateful for it. But to be honest, I don't like to cook Brazilian food when I'm here, because I don't feel like I'm having the food doesn't taste the same. Like I feel like here I like to cook like stamppot, for example.
Oh,
So
You
in the
actually
Netherlands,
cook stamppot?
I cook stamppot every week. I love stamppot. But then when I'm in Brazil, then I eat Brazilian food. Here I like to eat Dutch food.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it
It
goes.
just fits the vibe
Yeah, it
better.
fits the
vibe,
Because
yeah.
if you try to make something, it's just not. Yeah.
traveling to me is also about experiencing new worldviews, new cultures. Is there anything that traveling or living in another country has taught you, any worldview that has changed because of living abroad or traveling?
I would say for me, the biggest learning I've had is that nothing is permanent. So when I moved to Amsterdam, I thought I would be here for a year. And then I ended up living here for 12 years. And then at one point I also moved to Montreal, and I thought that would be like more permanent, but I ended up living there for 9 months. So I think for me, it's just more like things are more fluid in general, and then you'll like meet a lot of people along the way, and I don't know, things will change because I don't know, like if we start hanging out, I might start like, I don't know, eating Nigerian food, and then that'll be a part of my culture now. So it's like learning and adapting new stuff as you go along, and that nothing is ever that black and white. Like, so things can always change, basically.
Right. Thijs, is that the same for you? You have anything else?
Yeah,
that
I
you've
think
experienced?
so. I mostly I travel a lot for work, and then especially here in the Netherlands, it's very like we like to have a flat society. You know, let's both physically, of course, but also like the hierarchy, and then like everybody talks to each other here the same way. And then we opened an office in Sofia, and then the colleagues there, when we came there, they were like, oh my god, there's people from the headquarters here. Oh my god, we have to be quiet while we work. We have to look our best behavior. And then, that was really a difference for me.
What's the lesson you took out of that? Be quiet when you work.
Of course, yeah, quiet. Yeah.
No.
But also, you know, bring a bit of that Dutch and the bunk culture like to the other offices as well.
Yeah.
So that's always nice when we go there. That's, you know, we really try to mingle and also go for dinners and drinks and etc. So
Yeah.
it's really nice.
What I like about what you said is that because you were like, okay, I'm gonna stay 1 year, and then you stay 12
Yeah.
years, and then 9 months that became whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like when we go to different places, we have the idea that okay, this is my plan. When I'm gonna be this age, I want to have this house, this car, and this. And like sometimes life changes completely, and and like moving to different countries really teach you how to like just be more at ease with changes and with like new things that are happening to your life.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Because I think, at least for me, when you make a plan of I want to achieve this and get this and whatever, actually getting to that point is not the exciting part. And I think traveling shows you that the flow or whatever it is actually the enjoyable part, right?
100%.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also think like experiencing like different cultures also helps you to appreciate like your own culture and also the new culture that you're immersing yourself in. I think something that I definitely learned like living in the Netherlands was like don't make excuses. Like excuses is not accepted here. Like if it's raining, go on your bike, go when you have to go. Je bent niet van Salke gemaakt. Like you need to, you know, keep going. And that's like something that was also another shock for me because in Nigeria, like once it starts raining like really hard, everything is closed. Like you don't go to school that day. Like school is cancelled. Like the teacher doesn't show up for class. It's, you know. But here, if it's raining, if it's storming, like people are going to the grocery stores. They're doing what they have to do.
But if it snows though, then everything
That's true.
is
There's always something.
Yeah.
Or like
Or
one
if the
leaf
leaves
on
fall.
the train tracks.
Exactly. But you still have to find your way around and get
That's
to where
true.
you need to go.
That's true.
So I definitely do appreciate that, you know.
Yeah.
And also just always being on the move, always being active. Like I really love the fact that we're always riding a bike. You're able to walk around.
I actually appreciate the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are always in the Netherlands tend to be on the move and we have a career path and we want to accomplish things and indeed nothing shuts down. And I'm like, nobody will die if we shut down for an afternoon because it's sunny and we all go to the beach or it's raining too hard and we're all inside. So I really appreciate that people are like taking the rest, calmness and just also enjoy what they have instead of always aiming for more and more. And I think in the Netherlands we tend to be complaining a lot, that's a typical Dutch maybe, and want more and more, and sometimes just take a step back and enjoy what you have. And that's what I've learned from traveling around, that other cultures tend to live more in the moment, appreciate what they have, and we're always like more and more and more, and I'm like, oh, it's tiring.
It's tiring.
I'm tired.
But I love perspectives because for me, like with my background, I feel like in Brazil, things are gonna be like open always. Like things are always open. Like the grocery store is gonna be open at 11 o'clock, and I'm like, people are working here, but people should be like having a life.
Yes.
And then here, I feel like work and life have like a way better balance, and people understand that like, okay, it's sunny. Oh, I'm gonna go to the park. They're not really like thinking, oh, I need to work a little bit more.
Okay,
But then
yeah, interesting.
maybe in Curaçao it's a bit different, and we all have different perspectives.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
I saw this meme once and it was like, email someone from Europe in the summer and you'll get like an out of office, like I'm out of office for the next 3 months, do not contact me. And then email someone in the US and it'll be like, I'm just in the hospital having open heart surgery, but yeah, I can get this to you in an hour.
People are taking Ubers to go to the hospital. Insane. Yes.
Yeah. So it's, there are definitely a lot of differences. But I think for me, like traveling around and living in different places has made me a lot more like well-rounded, because I used to be a lot of one thing, and then now when I lived in Amsterdam, I became a lot of something else. And now I live in the US again, but it's like, I'm different. Like I'm not the same as before I left. So
You started to talk louder again.
I started to talk louder again. Yes. But I'm also very direct. So I think I like intimidate
Loud
people
and direct. I
in the
love
US
it.
and in Canada.
While traveling or living somewhere else, it can maybe sometimes also feel a bit lonely, or you miss people from home. How do you stay connected with people on the other side of the world?
I think for me, mostly, I just try to like make time out to like check in on people. I know like now, like with social media, it's easy to like someone's post and feel like you've called them or something.
We
So,
have
like,
been in touch.
Exactly, like it's easy to like drop a comment and be like, oh, triple heart emoji, you go girl.
Fire emoji.
Exactly. And then you feel like you've checked in on them for like the next, 1 month or something. So for me, I just try to like still like schedule time out to like call and like be like, oh, how are you doing? Like what's happening in your life? It is quite hard, especially if you're working like in different time zone. Although like Nigeria is like similar time zone here, but like most of my family also live in Canada. So then I also like try to like keep in mind that okay, I need to call at a certain time as well, and just still try to like keep that voice connection or in person, like travel over there if possible.
Yeah. What's it like for you? Do you still have family in Brazil?
Yeah, like my parents are pretty much in Brazil, and I feel like I'm really bad at sending messages. Like sometimes I can be a very long time without like giving a major update, but at the same time, I feel like my parents can be very much like, "Oh my God, I just became Dutch, and this is amazing," and they're like,
Thumbs up.
and I'm like,
You get the bookmark.
That must have been your dad.
yes, and I'm like, but this is huge.
Yeah.
Why you're not saying anything?
Yeah.
So then, and then you call them, and then you're like, okay, I was just misunderstanding, and everything is fine. And that's a challenge, I think, to just be able to connect and reconnect, and always have like that feeling that things are alright.
Actually connect instead of sending.
Especially with
technical
friends, I
updates.
think.
Yeah.
But what I like is that like I can be okay. I'm 1 year without going to Brazil, 2 years. But when I go back, I feel like the friendships are always the same, and things are still good. And I'm like, okay, I don't talk with this person for 1 year, but I still have the feeling that we have a really good connection.
Don't you feel like you have two lives?
Yes.
Because that's
100%.
what I'm like, this is my Dutch life, and then when I go to Miami, it's my Miami life.
Yes.
Now I have a New York life, and it's like, they don't always mix, so you can, when I go back home, then it's like you continue the previous life you had, and it's like the new life doesn't even
You were in
matter
a coma,
because they don't care.
and then you just woke up from the coma.
Because
Okay.
they don't care if I was like in the Malabar, you know, it's like, but then you go back and
Like,
you're
what's
just
the
back
Malabar?
into the, exactly.
It's like you're
back into
running
the
3
regular stuff.
Netflix shows on your own life.
Yeah, kind of.
But I also think nowadays, like a lot of people are like, going to new countries. A lot of people are moving abroad. So now there's like the change of the people you left back home have gone. Like they have gone somewhere else. So I still struggle to like keep in touch and like, okay, before like, let's say if I go back to Nigeria, I hang out with my friends that are there, but like now most of them are like in different places. They're in the UK, they're in Germany. So now I'm like, how am I going to keep in touch with these people? And it doesn't always work out, like relationships, like they go a bit stale sometimes. But yeah, I feel like social media, it has its ups and downs. Like still being able to like still helps in a way, although it doesn't do the job. But
no, but sometimes I'll get like people will be like, oh, you live in Amsterdam, like a random person blast from the past, like, and then you kind of reconnect because they're like, I'm coming to visit, and then you kind of it's I don't know, it's touch and go, but yeah.
A question for the Dutchies at the table. Well, I mean, I think everybody's Dutch, but the ones that are born and raised here. Do you have any tips on how to make friends with Dutch people?
Well, difficult.
Yeah, I think it is. It can be hard. Like people, when they grow up, they make a lot of friends and they're pretty content with their friend group. They maintain that pretty well. But what I found is, if you just have a dinner with a couple of friends and someone brings someone new, that's like a really nice introduction to like get to know someone new. And then, well, if they're fun, they usually come more often, and that's definitely one way.
Yeah.
And
Did you think of something?
I thought about something. Become part of communities.
Yeah.
You also mentioned the LGBT community, just the gym, because there it's easier to connect again and to do something fun with Dutch people. But indeed, we have a very strong friendship with people from our childhood or studying that we are really content with and maintaining a lot.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to really get a very deep new connection at a later age.
Yeah, but yet you decide to live in such a expat hotspot.
Yeah, well,
What's
you
that
don't
like?
have to be friends with everybody, but friendly. So you can still have a lot of fun times. But if life gets hard, you get back to your older friends maybe. But you can still, I love having fun times with everybody. We can go out for drinks afterwards.
Okay.
I'm down.
I'm down. I mean,
But I won't call you friends.
I have to check my calendar though.
Yeah, I'll stand on your side.
Yeah, maybe in a few months.
What's the most unexpected skill that you've learned? Traveling, living abroad? To me, well, I mean, I'll go first. I can literally work from anywhere now. On the plane, on the floor, it doesn't matter. I feel literally comfortable wherever I am.
And how's your back doing?
We're not going to talk about
Yeah, okay.
I feel like learning how to be by yourself as well. Like,
Right, I think it's related to that, yeah.
The idea of, okay, you are alone, but it's amazing that you are alone and you can just like get your computer, go somewhere, work, go even to the cinema alone, go like walk alone and
have a nice dinner alone.
Yes, I feel like the way that you learn that you don't need other people anywhere, and eventually you will meet other people, but they are not a necessity, is just the best. I feel like
self-reliance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think Dutch people taught me that as well, and it came in different ways. Like the first time was like, I don't know, going to the bathroom. Like usually, like where I come from, people go in pairs to the bathroom. Like you will never go to the bathroom alone. Here it's like, just go.
Bye,
or like
I'm
getting
going.
yeah. And then I remember once I was going to this party, and usually like in Miami, nobody goes to a party by themselves. You first meet up with friends, and then you go to the party together. But in Holland, it was like, no, just meet me there. And I was like,
and then everybody's at the same time as well,
yeah,
right?
yes. And then people were, but actually, like, I started doing a lot more things alone. And even like you said, like once I went to dinner by myself, and then at first it was weird, but then it was fine. And I think some cultures are like more open to, like, I think it would be a little bit more weird if I had dinner alone in Miami. But in Amsterdam, like, it's not a problem.
I feel like people, at least in Brazil or in Latin America, they are really worried about what others are going to think about them. Like, oh my God, this person's going to say that I am alone. But here, people are more like, I want to do this, and I'm going to go there.
Great. I give the message that I want to be left alone.
I completely agree. I think Dutch people also mind their business a lot here. So like you don't really have to think like, oh, like someone is watching me, like I'm scared or I'm shy. Like they don't care. Nobody cares.
Nobody
like
cares.
do you?
But you mentioned indeed you can work from everywhere. So indeed traveling and living a digital nomad lifestyle doesn't interfere with your productivity, getting all your work done. How do you deal with that?
No, but I'm not sure if I'm the best example because I'm quite a like I plan my days always quite strictly. But I think there's a couple of things I've learned. One of them is always have a routine. Regardless of where you are, and the routine might be different. Even when I travel for fun, I will have a routine where I don't necessarily go to the gym or work, but it will be a routine that gives me peace and allows me to do what I want to do. And I think there's this thing living out of a suitcase, right? I don't do that. Even if I go somewhere for one day, I unpack and I make it my
Really?
I love
home.
that.
Yeah,
I love that.
no. But Sam, you travel quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I think similar to you, it's just about like deciding what's important to you. For me, for example, when I'm traveling, I love to just experience the local culture. So even if I'm working, like I always try to like make time to go either walk around or get dinner somewhere or go for a coffee somewhere and just embed that into the day. And I think then it just starts to become like a normal day, except you just happen to be in a
Somewhere
different
else.
place. So then it's kind of the same. The only difference is at night, you might be going to like a hotel instead of to your apartment, which I'm experiencing now because now I don't live in Amsterdam anymore. But when I'm here, I stay in a hotel, but then I still do like normal things that I was doing before. So my days are like same as if I was living here, but at the end of the day, I go to a hotel. So it's like a little bit different, but you just kind of have to, I don't know, same for the gym. Like, I mean, there's tons of apps now that you can just book and they work globally, so you can book a gym class so it's not really an excuse anymore. No excuses.
No.
You just have to do it, yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like it's also really important to think that, okay, this is a holiday trip versus like a work trip.
Yes. There is a difference.
Because I feel like for you as well, like we are recording stuff, we are making
you never
videos,
stop working, right?
and then you're like, oh, this is such a good video, and then I'm like, no. You
This
are
is a great
chilling.
moment to enjoy.
Yes.
I experienced the same. I think probably like sometimes I go to the same place twice. One time for work and one time to actually like just enjoy and like just be there for me, I guess.
Which one do you usually do first?
Oh, good question.
So when I was in Canada, I went to like the mall, which was like the biggest mall in Canada. I went twice. First time I went alone, I told my cousin, don't come. I'm just gonna work, I'm gonna make videos. And then the second time, it was both of us. I didn't make any video. I just experienced everything. But the second time is actually more fun. because you're not actively like searching for like, you know, content or like something like that. You're just there.
taking it
like,
in.
Yeah.
So I heard about this thing called intermittent nomading, and it's where you don't really have like one home base and then go to other places. We have like multiple home bases where you like stay there for a couple of months and there go to different places. Anyone's ever done that, or is just something I read online?
I think I am currently doing it. I live partly in Amsterdam, partly in Rome, where my boyfriend lives, and and I travel a bit around that. And I do think, I mean, you read about it online. I haven't, to be honest, but
You're living it.
I'm living it.
Yeah.
And what I found interesting, I actually realized that the other day I went on holiday to Mexico, which was amazing, by the way. Love Mexico. And instead of flying back to Amsterdam, I flew back with my boyfriend to Rome. Like, I'm going home, I'm flying to Rome. And the next day, one of my friends asked me, what was that like?
Yeah.
What's it like being back in Rome? And I said, well, funny enough, it actually felt like coming home.
That's cute.
funny. Yeah.
So usually when I travel a lot, there's a lot of people that I meet and like experiences that I have. Do you have any like experiences of making connections with people or things when you're traveling?
Yeah, a lot. Mainly my boyfriend, I must say. He makes friends with everyone. It's very fascinating, slightly annoying.
I was going to say, that's slightly annoying.
No. No, he knows I love it. He knows how I feel about it. But actually, the other day in Mexico, it was kind of special. We went to this, I can't pronounce the word. We went to this site, this historic site, Ekbalam, and we took a colectivo, which is basically a shared taxi. It's an amazing concept. There's a taxi, there's 4 seats. Everyone who arrives gets a seat. And we're just going to wait until we leave, until we're full. My Dutch, I was on holiday, but internally I was a bit like, when are we going? But it was great. And I was actually sitting next to a woman, Daria. She was Mayan, so she spoke Maya, had a full traditional Mayan dress on. And I started talking to her. And we had such a nice conversation for like 30 minutes. And then she started teaching me swear words, Mayan. And it was so, I don't know, I think about it sometimes because we are living such a different life, but yet we were so easy to connect, right?
Yeah, and I feel like some cultures are pretty open. Like, I feel like back in the days when I was in Brazil, I could, okay, I'm gonna go to the bus, and then you sit next to someone, and then you're telling like, oh, the cousin of the husband of this person cheated on the wife of the mother of the father.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, people are telling deep secrets to each other, and I feel like it's so fascinating like, to deal with it. And then the more you are here and you adapt to the Dutch culture, I'm like, no, I'm on my own. I love being on my own. But then every now and then I like to go back and then be like intrigued by how open people can be about their lives.
Give me the juice, yeah. What's an advice that you would give someone who is dreaming of becoming a digital nomad or is exploring the idea of becoming an expat? What's the one piece of advice you'd give them?
Ooh, I would say prepare before you come to the country with all the insurances and registrations, etc., because there is probably a lot of paperwork to be done.
Yeah, especially in Italy. I can attest to that.
I would say more from a digital nomad perspective, I would say like your fear of looking stupid is holding you back. Like just go for it. Like nowadays it's not hard to start. It's more about being consistent and don't be scared of looking stupid. It's fine. Just go for it.
I think you have to make sure that you really want it, like you want that, like that variety in your life, and not the same thing that you can rely on day in and day out. But I guess also the best way to do that is just to go and do it. And if you don't like it, you can always stop.
That's what I was gonna say. Nothing is permanent, right? So you can always try. Like you can go somewhere and you can always come back. It's harder, I think, to make that first step, but it's always easy to come back. So just even if it's a small thing, studying abroad or like visiting a friend somewhere else, just do it. Yeah.
I mean, we all have the same feeling. I feel like, the more you overthink, the least you're actually living life. And yeah, I just decided to come here and then it worked. But if it wouldn't work, then I would also just move away. And that's how life should be.
On that note, it's something you love about the Netherlands. What's something, maybe we can do one word each. What we love about the Netherlands.
The directness.
No excuses.
Flat.
I love the cheese. That's my favorite.
I love the freedom.
That everything just works.
Fair.
Thank you all so much. I think those were some valuable lessons for everyone at home, but also for me. I will take them with me wherever I will go. And if you haven't already, go to our YouTube channel and watch our Bunk Update 26 live stream to discover all the unique features that we've added to the app to basically make your life easy and tailor it to your unique international lifestyle. If you have any questions, comments, remarks, anything you want to share with us, please leave it below in the comments. And on that note, thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for watching. I really hope to see you next time. And ciao, or as they would say here,
Doeg.
later.